Welcome to NFL News Update, where touchdowns meet headlines. Stay in the game with the freshest NFL updates. This is your quick dive into football fervor.
NFL Coaching GM Tracker. Latest news, interviews, developments in 2024 hiring cycle. Atlanta Falcons. Head coach Raheem Morris. The Falcons are expected to hire Rams defensive coordinator Raheem Morris as their next head coach. NFL Network insider Tom Pelissero reported on January 25, per sources. Carolina Panthers. Head coach Dave Canales. General manager/president of football ops Dan Morgan. The Panthers are hiring Canales, who spent the 2023 season as offensive coordinator of the Buccaneers, NFL Network insider Ian Rappaport reported. The Panthers hired Morgan on January 22. Morgan succeeds Scott Fitterer, who was fired after the franchise went 2-15 this past season. Morgan, a former first-round draft pick of the team, played linebacker for Carolina from 2001 to 2007 and made one Pro Bowl. Chicago Bears. Offensive coordinator Shane Waldron. Quarterbacks coach Kerry Joseph. The Bears are hiring former Seahawks OC Shane Waldron as the new offensive coordinator, NFL Network insider Ian Rappaport reported on January 22. Chicago fired OC Luke Getsy on January 10. Cincinnati Bengals. Offensive coordinator Dan Pitcher. The Bengals promoted quarterbacks Dan Pitcher to offensive coordinator on January 25. Jacksonville Jaguars. Defensive coordinator Ryan Nielsen. Linebackers coach Matt House. The Jaguars hired Nielsen, who spent the 2023 season as the Falcons' defensive coordinator, on January 22. Jaguars fired Mike Caldwell on January 8 after 2 years as the team's DC. The Jaguars are hiring Matt House as their linebackers coach. NFL Network insider Tom Pelissero reported on January 24, per sources. Las Vegas Raiders. Head coach Antonio Pierce. General manager Tom Telesco. The Raiders agreed to terms to hire Antonio Pierce as their new head coach on January 19. Pierce, who led Las Vegas to a 5-4 finish to the 2023 season as the interim head coach, becomes just the third interim HC to become that team's full-time coach the following year. The Raiders are expected to hire Telesco as their new GM. NFL Network insider Ian Rappaport reported on January 23. Telesco previously spent 11 seasons as Chargers GM, for whom he went 84-92 with 3 playoff appearances. Los Angeles Chargers. Jim Harbaugh, head coach. The Chargers agreed to terms with Harbaugh to become their next head coach. Harbaugh led the University of Michigan to a national championship in January and received an offer from Michigan that would have made him the highest-paid coach in college football, but chose to helm the Chargers. New England Patriots. Jared Mayo, head coach. The Patriots hired Jared Mayo to succeed Bill Belichick as their new head coach on January 12. Mayo, who had served as a linebackers coach the past 5 seasons on Belichick's staff, had been strongly considered as the heir apparent. The 37-year-old becomes the first black head coach in franchise history and is now the youngest HC in the NFL. New York Giants. Michael Jobriel, special teams coordinator. The Giants hired Gobriel as special teams coordinator on January 25. Gobriel previously was the assistant special teams coach for the Jets. Philadelphia Eagles. Vic Fangio, defensive coordinator. The Eagles are set to hire Fangio as their new defensive coordinator. NFL Network insider Tom Pelissero reported on January 25. Fangio and the Miami Dolphins parted ways on January 24 after just 1 season. Tennessee Titans. Brian Callahan, head coach. The Titans hired Brian Callahan to succeed Mike Vrabel. NFL Network insider Tom Pelissero on January 24. Callahan will take on his first head coaching job after previously serving as the Cincinnati Bengals offensive coordinator. Washington Commanders. Adam Peters, general manager. The Commanders hired former 49ers assistant general manager Adam Peters as their new GM, the team announced on January 15. NFL Network insider Ian Rappaport had reported on January 12 that Washington was working to hire Peters. Firings. Atlanta Falcons. Head coach Arthur Smith. The Falcons fired Smith on January 7 after Atlanta's season ended in a blowout loss to the rival Saints. Smith finished his 3-year tenure with a 21-30 record. The Falcons finished under 500 in each campaign, going 7-10 each year. Buffalo Bills. Offensive coordinator Ken Dorsey. The Bills fired Dorsey on November 14, a day after Buffalo's loss to the Denver Broncos on Monday Night Football. Dorsey was elevated from his role as Bills passing game coordinator and quarterbacks coach in 2022 when Brian Daboll left to take the New York Giants head coaching job. Carolina Panthers. Head coach Frank Reich. General manager Scott Fitterer. Assistant head coach /RB's Deuce Staley. Kiwis coach Josh McCown. The Panthers fired Reich on November 27, just 11 games into his first season in Carolina. Reich, who was hired in the offseason after more than 4 seasons as the head coach for the Colts, went 1-10 with the Panthers before his ouster. The Panthers fired Fitterer on January 8, following the conclusion of a 2-15 season.